A 911 call, a simulator facility, a man on a bathroom floor. 48 hours after NASCAR lost its all-time wins leader, the details surrounding Kyle Busch's final hours are beginning to surface, and they are sobering in a way that no tribute or highlight reel can prepare you for. This is what actually happened. A 911 call obtained by the Associated Press reveals that Kyle Busch was in serious physical distress the day before he died. The call came from a General Motors training facility in Concord, North Carolina on Wednesday afternoon. Busch had been using a Chevrolet racing simulator when he became unresponsive. The unidentified caller reported that he was experiencing shortness of breath, felt he was severely overheating and was coughing up blood. He was found lying on the bathroom floor inside the complex, conscious but clearly in crisis. He was transported to a hospital in Charlotte. He died the following day, Thursday, May 21st. He was 41 years old. No official cause of death has been released. The Busch family has asked for privacy. NASCAR CEO Steve O'Donnell confirmed Friday that he would not address the cause of death out of respect for that request, but pledged that full transparency would follow in due time. The picture that emerges from these new details is one that makes the timeline almost impossible to process. On Monday, just 2 days before the 911 call, Busch posted a birthday message to his 11-year-old son Brexton on social media. Tuesday night, father and son were together at the opening of a go-kart facility in Durham, North Carolina, alongside the Andretti family, a completely normal evening for a racing family. Wednesday afternoon, emergency responders were being directed to a simulator facility in Concord. Christopher Bell, one of Busch's close competitors, said he spoke to Busch before last weekend's Truck Series race at Dover, the race Busch went on to win, which turned out to be the final victory of his career. Bell said he seemed completely normal, no signs, no indicators, nothing that would have told anyone what was coming. That detail is critical. This was not a slow decline that went unnoticed. By all visible accounts, Kyle Busch was a functioning, active, competitive driver 1 week before his death, and a father spending evenings with his son 2 days before the 911 call. The symptom picture described in that call, shortness of breath, overheating, coughing blood, points to something acute and serious. But without an official cause of death, speculation serves no one. What we can say with certainty is that whatever happened moved fast, and it moved without warning. Several threads from Friday's developments deserve careful attention. First, the 911 call itself and what it reveals about the chain of events. The caller was described as calm. He gave clear directions. He asked that sirens be turned off upon arrival, suggesting an awareness of both the severity of the situation and a desire to manage it with discretion. That composure in the moment likely helped responders reach Busch as quickly as possible. The fact that he was conscious when help arrived made Thursday's outcome feel even more sudden to those who knew the timeline. Second, NASCAR CEO Steve O'Donnell's Friday press conference struck a tone that was both disciplined and deeply personal. He declined every question about cause of death, firmly but with clear humanity behind the decision. His description of Busch as an American badass and his recollection of the time Busch played up an injury just to mock NASCAR's mandatory care center protocol painted the picture of a man who ran on his own terms until the very end. O'Donnell also raised the possibility of expediting Busch's Hall of Fame induction, potentially adding him to the class of 2027, a list finalized just this week with Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, and Larry Phillips. That conversation needs to happen, and it needs to happen quickly. Waiting years to enshrine the all-time wins leader while the sport is actively grieving him would be a missed opportunity to let the institution reflect what the community already knows. Third, and this is the detail that will define the coming years at Childress Racing, the team announced Friday that the number 8 Cup Series car will not be fielded again until Brexton Busch is old enough to race it himself. Read that again. The car his father drove will sit until his son is ready to carry it forward. That is not a PR statement. That is a declaration of legacy. It is RCR saying that the number belongs to the Busch family and that the next chapter of its story will be written by the next generation. Brexton is 11 years old. He is already well established in youth karting circuits and widely considered one of the most talented young drivers in the country. The timeline is not as far off as it might seem. The reaction to Friday's development split across two distinct emotional currents. The 911 call details brought a kind of grief that is different from the abstract shock of Thursday. Knowing that Busch was at a simulator doing his job, preparing to race, doing what he had done his entire adult life, and that within hours he was on a hospital floor, makes the loss feel more immediate, more real. harder to sit with. The response to RCR's announcement about the number 8 car was something else entirely. Social media responses from inside Rowdy Nation range from emotional to overwhelmed. The image of Brexton one day climbing into that car and carrying his father's number is the kind of story that transcends sport. Several longtime NASCAR journalists called it one of the most powerful decisions an organization has made in recent memory. Vice President J.D. Vance also weighed in Friday, noting he had met Busch on the campaign trail in 2024. The tributes continue to come from every level of public life. The Carolina Hurricanes held a moment of silence before their Eastern Conference Finals game Thursday night. The Indianapolis 500 weekend, running simultaneously with Charlotte, acknowledged the loss as well. Kyle Busch's death cast a shadow across the entire American motorsports calendar in a single afternoon. 2 scenarios from this point forward. Best case, a cause of death is disclosed in the coming days or weeks in a way that brings clarity to the Busch family and the NASCAR community. The Hall of Fame process moves with urgency. The Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte this Sunday becomes one of the most watched and most meaningful races in the modern era of the sport. And somewhere down the line, 5, 6, 7 years from now, Brexton Busch climbs into the number 8 car, and the full weight of that moment lands for an entirely new generation of fans. Worst case, the absence of a disclosed cause of death lingers and fuels speculation that distracts from the tribute. The compressed Charlotte weekend, already disrupted by rain, creates logistical chaos that undercuts the emotional weight of what the sport is trying to accomplish. And the enormity of the number 8 legacy creates pressure on Brexton that a young driver, no matter how talented, should never have to carry alone. The sports leadership and the Busch family will have to navigate all of it carefully. Monday, he was celebrating his son's birthday online. Tuesday night, he was at a go-kart track watching that same son do what Busches do, race. Wednesday afternoon, a 911 call was placed from a simulator facility in Concord. Thursday, NASCAR lost 234 wins worth of irreplaceable talent. And Friday, his team announced that his car will wait, parked and ready, until his boy is old enough to take the wheel. If that does not define the word legacy, nothing does. Here is today's question for the comments. When Brexton Busch is old enough to race that number 8 car at the Cup level, and that day will come, what kind of driver do you think he will be? And can any son truly carry a weight that big? Tell us what you think below. And subscribe to Sportswire USA, because this story is far from over.